Hey everybody, Jeff Oriema here. Of all the basic concepts in GraphQL, queries are probably the most fundamental. Once you get beyond the paved path, though, there are some interesting nuances about queries that aren't widely known. I'll share a few here. Some are practical, others are more informational than anything else. First, you can query without a query. The GraphQL spec says that opening curly braces and filling them in will be interpreted as a query by default. Of course, don't do this in your production code, but it's a little affordance that might save some keystrokes when you're in your GraphQL IDE. In fact, this technique is used pretty liberally in the GraphQL specification text. Second, you can select the same field multiple times with aliases. Here I'm querying two fields, French language and Spanish language, each of which is an alias for the field language, with a different argument provided. This abstraction can be powerful, but use it responsibly. Oftentimes, an abundance of aliases indicates a gap between schema design and how clients are actually consuming the graph. Third, you can write client-side directives. Let's say I want to put a string in all caps. Since that's a presentational concern, one pattern would be to define a directive using your GraphQL client of choice. That directive can get scrubbed before it even gets sent to the server, so the server doesn't even need to understand it. Here's how you might apply that directive, uppercase, in your query. A lot of teams make heavy use of client-side directives for state management, computed fields, accessibility properties, and more. Fourth, you can inline fragments, even with polymorphism and directives. GraphQL has a spread operator. By itself, it's not all that interesting, but if you want to apply a fragment-level directive, like @defer, that's where the magic happens. This is where you can insert type conditions as well. It's typically more idiomatic to use name fragments though, which you'll see more of in a moment. Fifth, variables are operation scoped, and fragments can access them freely and implicitly. So, if I have a fragment, country card, that consumes variables, as long as they are consistent with the operation that the fragment is being spread into, I'm good to go. So here I'm referencing namelang, include languages, and include states. Those variables are declared in the parent operation, the country demo query. Some tooling already supports a more recent feature called fragment arguments, which allows fragments to accept arguments. That RFC is currently seeking a champion in the GraphQL working group to get it merged into the spec. Sixth, you can send multiple operations in one document. This is valid. Now, the GraphQL server has to pick which operation to execute, so something is not getting run here. So in most cases, you wouldn't actually write a document like this. So I put this in the nerd stuff category. Fun trivia knowledge, limited practical application. But the cherry on top of this sundae is that one fragment can contain references to variables defined by either or both operations. Kind of funny. So, there you have it. 6 things you can do with GraphQL queries. How many of them did you know about before seeing this video? Let me know. That's it for now. See you next time.